Hi everyone, hope you're doing good. This is my album review for Graveside Confessions by Carnifex. Now, this album came out quite a while ago, back in September, but I thought I wanted to do a review on it as I bought it. This is their 8th album, and it came out on Nuclear Blast Records. Um, this is actually my first time checking out the band as well. One of the singles come up on my YouTube and I really liked it, so I went and got the album, and I think it's absolutely fantastic. I really do. I was really pleasantly surprised about how much I really enjoyed it. Yeah, it's a pretty long album. There's 15 tracks on it, although one of them songs is a cover and three of them songs are re-recordings from old material. But yeah, this album is not your typical deathcore. Usually they're a deathcore band, but there's quite a lot of black metal in here. So it's almost like Blackened Deathcore, if that even exists. Yeah, so it's pretty much like 50% deathcore, 40% black metal, and then there's 10% of like sort of new metal-y kind of riffs going on, but good new metal like Slipknot and Korn and stuff like that. Lots of samples, keyboards are used on this album as well to add the atmosphere, make it sound a bit gothy, and there's so much going on in this album. But before we get into that, let's just go through a little brief history of the band. They were formed in 2005, released their debut album in 2007. They were a full-on deathcore band until their third album. They started to implement more death metal, black metal stuff into the music. Then on their fourth album onwards, they pushed the black metal and the more atmospheric elements into the music a lot more. They had a couple of lineup changes. They were a five-piece until their lead guitarist left last year. And the vocalist Scott Ian Lewis and the drummer slash keyboardist Sean Cameron are the only original members left in the band. Now let's get into the album properly, starting with my top 3 tracks. This was really hard to pick. As I said, it's a fantastic album, so many great songs, but in the end I went with Graveside Confessions, the title track, Cursed and Carry Us Away. Graveside Confessions was the song that made me want to buy this album. There's some really awesome groovy riffs, and I absolutely loved the riff before the solo towards the middle of the song. Really awesome. Really cool structure to the song, very different. I love the bit at the end. It just goes absolutely brutal, breakdown, brilliant. The drumming is brilliant. I love the atmospheric stuff going on in the song, and there's a lot of black metal shrieks in the vocal style, which I really like. Cursed starts and ends with this eerie guitar riff by Corey. There's a lot of black metal in the song. It opens up with a really cool black metal style riff, and then it kind of goes into the more deathcore bits, and then the black metal bit coming as well. There's a pretty cool solo in the middle of the song. Some brilliant riffs throughout the whole song. Love it. And then Carry Us Away starts with almost like a behemoth style riff to open the song. Really awesome. Then it goes into some groovy deathcore riffs. The chorus riff is really cool. I find it quite interesting. Brilliant drumming. I love the vocals on that song as well. And there's some samples in the middle to add some extra atmosphere. And then it comes in again with the brutal stuff towards the end. Love it. Brilliant song. So let's move on to the other tracks. I'm going to try and go as fast as I can because there's a lot to get through here. So yeah, the first one, Pray for Peace. That was the first song I actually heard off this album. It's got a very nu metal vibe to it, very Slipknot, Korn sounding riffs, quite a lot of samples used. There's some cool black metal bits in the middle. I really like the black metal parts. Absolutely brutal vocals going on. Some really cool groovy riffs, and yeah, the solo's pretty cool. And then I love how it ends with the start with the kind of Gojira string scrape thing going on. Really cool. Next one, Seven Souls. I like that. I like this song. It's got some cool samples at the start. That's got sort of build it up with that little bit of black metal-y kind of thing going on. Some cool deathcore with some black metal mixed in there with the riffing. Some brutal riffs going on. I like the chorus riff with the keyboards and everything, adding an atmosphere. The drumming's fantastic again. Talk to the Dead. This song nearly made the top 3. I love the black metal. Again, it's very black metal. I think there's more black metal in this song than anything else. I like the chorus, it's pretty cool. But the deathcore bits come in a bit later on. Some really cool riffs. I like the gothic sounding samples as well that they mix in. Really, really, really cool. And then it comes to January Nights. And I really, really like this song because it's something totally different to the rest of the album. It's a nice break in the middle of the album, sort of breaks it up from the deathcore black metal stuff. This is like a real sort of quiet, clean, somber sounding song. It's an instrumental as well. It's a really nice palate cleanser. And yeah, the guitar riffing is really, really, really nice. Some cool like strings added as well. He does a very Andy Summers-esque riff, which is really cool. And then as it goes on, it gets a little heavier with some trem picking, which is really, really cool. I really like the placement of the song right in the middle of the album because it's a nice palate cleanser and I really like it. Then it goes to Cemetery Wander, and this song just goes straight back into the black metal. It's got some really cool groovy riffs, some really cool vocals as well from Scott. I like the breakdown in the middle, and then it sort of fades out with that breakdown riff. I've got to be honest, this is probably my least favourite song on the album. Not because it's terrible, it's just not as good as everything else. Countess of Perpetual Torment. This is a really, really cool song. It's got a brilliant opening riff. Some really cool groovy riffs again. I like the black and the death metal bits coming in. There's a pretty cool solo in the middle. It sort of slows down a little bit with some gothic keyboards coming in. And the breakdown bit at the end is pretty cool. Very, very gothic-y at the end. Next song is Dead Bodies Everywhere, which is a Korn cover. It's got a strange piano intro. It's a pretty cool cover. They do their own like version of it. It's almost like they do like a deathcore sounding version with some black metal bits. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I like the vocal performance is pretty cool. He does like a black metal version of it. Next song, Cold Dead Summer. Now this one almost made the top 3 as well. Really, really heavy. Some great riffs throughout the song. I love the black metal style chorus. There's a really cool pinch harmonic riff, which is really, really cool. The piano bit in the middle of the song, before it kind of goes into the, say, chorus bit. I love that bit. It's so cool. Brilliant drumming, shrieking vocals again, excellent. And then technically the last song on the album is Alive for the Last Time. This is a brilliant end to the album. Super heavy. Some really cool bits in the song. I really love the black metal style riffing. Some cool atmospheric sort of samples, piano going on. And my only issue with that song is that it's not long enough. I would have loved it if they had carried that sort of bit on at the end. If they had carried that on for at least another maybe 20 seconds. I think that would have been really cool. But, oh well, they didn't do that. Now, yeah, as I say, the last 3 songs on this album are re-recordings from songs off their first album. They're all really, really cool. I'm not going to go into them that much. I'm just going to say the first one, Collaborating Like Killers, is really, really great. Cool Slipknot kind of sound to it. It's so heavy on the pinch harmonics. Pinch harmonics everywhere going on with that song. Some awesome heavy riffs, and the vocals are just brutal. It's just unreal vocals. And then the next song, My Heart in Atrophy, that song is just, I mean, if you thought that song collaborating like Killers was heavy, I mean, I think that one might even be heavier than that. Some of the breakdowns is just unreal. Some real Korn, Slipknot style riffing going on as well in the song, and the end breakdown is just, I don't even think they can get any lower than that. It's just unreal. And then the last one, Slit Wrist Savior, is a song that I did hear before, and it's brilliant. I love that pinch harmonic riff at the start, brilliant. Loads of riff changes throughout the song. Cool breakdown towards the end. The drumming and the vocals are always, as always, brilliant. Now we're going to move on to the verdict and the score. Yeah, as I said in the opening of the video, I absolutely love this album. It's fantastic. There is not really a lot wrong with it for me. I mean, you could argue, is there too many songs? Did they need to put a cover on it? Did they need to do them re-recordings? They didn't, but it's not a problem for me, because even though the album's 15 tracks and it's over an hour long, but it doesn't feel that long when you're listening to it. It just sort of flows and goes straight from track one to the end. And it's, you know, I know some of the songs you could probably argue, say that they're a little bit samey, but that doesn't bother me because they're all fantastic songs. The vocals are absolutely brilliant. He mixes the black metal with the death metal vocals, which is really, really cool. The drumming from Sean is absolutely insane. Some brilliant, brilliant drumming, and I really like the keyboards and samples that they put in as well. Just add extra depth to all the songs. Corey Artford played the guitar, and I mean, the amount of riffs he wrote, I don't know how he managed to come up with all them riffs. I mean, it's an absolute catalogue of riffs, really, this album. Brilliant, brilliant riffing. Excellent tone. Really bassy tone. And yeah, Fred Calderon on the bass. As I said, that the guitar tone was really bassy. You couldn't really hear the bass very well because of that bass sound, or that bass tone for the guitar. It was hard to hear his bass playing, but still done a really good job. I think this album will feature really high on my list, my end of year list. Yeah, it's definitely an album that if you're into black metal, you might actually like this album. If you're not that much into deathcore, you still might quite like this because there's a lot of black metal there. Or if you're into deathcore and you don't actually are into black metal that much, you might actually like this and might want to check out some black metal now. It's that kind of album where it's a nice sort of crossover between the genres. And yeah, the score, really, really high. I can't fault it that much. It gets a 9.5 out of 10 from me. So that was my album review of Graveside Confessions. I'd love to know what you thought of this album, if you've heard it, or will you go check it out now after this review? And if you're into Carnifex, I'd love to know what your favourite Carnifex album is, because I'm new to the band and I really want to check them out now. Yeah, so if you got this far, thanks ever so much for watching. Subscribe if you're new, and check other stuff out. I've got plenty of other content coming up on the channel, and until then, keep it metal.